Hi everyone and welcome. This is the second series of video blogs in support of the hardware asset management kit produced by ITAM Intelligence and Sam Charter. My name is Rory Canavan and with me is Kylie Fowler. Hello Kylie.
Hello.
Hi.
G'day.
G'day. So today we're going to be talking about, which process again, remind me?
Hardware purchase process.
The hardware purchase process. Well, okay, so yes, we need to have our act together around buying hardware. So Kylie, over to you. What's the importance around buying hardware effectively?
Well, obviously you don't want to waste your money, but it's also a relatively vulnerable time for an asset because it's not being used. You're buying the stuff in, it could easily get stolen, could easily disappear. But also you've got to make sure that you bring the asset into the organisation and you add that asset to your asset register. Without understanding the complete picture of every single asset in your organisation, it becomes really difficult to make sure that you're tracking all of that hardware. You've not lost anything, but also it makes it more challenging to verify that you've got that you understand all your software as well. So this is another hardware asset management process which is quite important in supporting software asset management and also of course information security.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
So what about some of the challenges then that you see coming out of such a process?
Well, I think the big challenge is that unless you get systems automated with your hardware vendor, it can be very, very manual to enter the information about the asset into your asset register and then into your CMDB. And the temptation for companies is always to say, right, we're just going to stick it on the network and wait until the discovery data flows in. But the problem then is if your asset has gone missing in between being delivered and being built and put on the network, you'll never know that it's gone missing.
Yeah.
So you do need to have that separate record, which is your asset register, so that then, in fact, when it's been built and it's not appeared in the discovery, you can say, hang on, where'd that asset go?
Yeah.
Or know that actually there's something not right with the agent or whatever.
Yeah.
So what you really do want in terms of best practice is to have automation, or even, I mean, at its simplest, you can just get the hardware vendor to send a spreadsheet that includes serial number, asset tag number if they tag the equipment for you, the invoice number, price, etc. All of those procurement pieces of information. Then you can actually upload that directly into your asset register, and you can do that before the kit's even arrived in your company, and then you can just have an asset status that says this kit's in stock.
Yeah.
And then when it actually is delivered, the people who are taking delivery of the equipment can then just, when they've received it, they can fill in the goods receipt note, and they can then also change the status from on delivery to in stock. Did I say they would put the asset status in stock? They need to put it on delivery and then change it to in stock when it's received.
When it's received, yeah.
Sorry.
And just on that point too, the supporting paperwork that comes with it, because this is always another one of those gotcha moments, is that you can typically, or sometimes you'll get laptops XYZ model times 100 or times 50 or whatever, and there's no delineation then as to which laptop is which or which device is which, so that when it does go onto the network, it's very hard to sort of correlate that back potentially to evidence of ownership or you know.
Yeah. But actually, if you work with the vendor, they will send you a list, and actually it's very easy for them to produce because, of course, they've got their own ERP systems. They need to track this stock very carefully. So yeah.
Sure. So any gotchas that we should be aware of then? I mean, I think I did ask about challenges, but you touched on a lot of best practice there too. So any particular challenges or gotchas that you might have sort of come across in your time?
Not really. I think the big issue with this process is that it can be very manual unless you automate it with your vendors. But once you've got that automation in process, it actually becomes a relatively straightforward activity to get the information into your asset register, and from there you can track it through the different statuses as it moves through its life cycle. Anything
about perhaps pre-built devices? So the software that might be installed on them. I mean that's always value add. That's something that hardware vendors typically can offer.
Yes, but again, if you want that sort of information, then get your hardware vendor to include it on the invoice, or to include it on the delivery note, or include it in a spreadsheet that they send to you, or or even just to have a punch out that includes all of that information. It's very doable.
Right.
All these systems can talk to each other these days. It's just a matter of actually getting people to do it.
Yeah.
As always with everything.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair
yeah.
enough. Well, I wish I had an anecdote now at this point. I don't.
No, I don't either, really.
So
No horror stories, unfortunately.
No.
Although actually my first hardware asset management job, the reason they got me in was because they were losing laptops.
Right.
And this is when laptops were pretty expensive. And they really didn't know where they were going. It turned out one of the engineers, one of the IT support engineers, was stealing them. So he was off the premises pretty quick when they realised that. But,
Right.
But so it is quite a vulnerable point. It is, although there's no data on the equipment at this point in time, it's still somewhere where you can lose stuff and waste money.
Sure.
Yeah. So there we go.
Cool. Right. Well, thank you all very much. We'll catch you soon.